and got some slides for you. So ultimately, I'll say good evening, everyone. And firstly, a huge thank you for inviting us to present to you this evening. So I've got 10 minutes to give you a whistle-stop tour, really, of who we are, what we're about, our achievements to date, and what's next, really, for the Corinthian club. But first, a little bit about who we are. So we are the New and Young Masons Club for the Chorley and Leyland Group, who are part of the province of West Lancashire. And we support not just lodges, but also chapters as well. And we were formed on the basis of two New and Young Masons clubs, previously named the Leyland Lights and the Chorley Blues Brothers, which were coming together as part of the groups that amalgamated as well. So a bit about the faces behind the brand, so you know who we are. So first up, we've got our president, who joins us this evening as well, who is Neil Ward. Similar leadership style, you could say, to Donald Trump. I don't know. We'll let him tell us later. But ultimately, Neil keeps us on our toes. We've also got our vice president as well, who is Mike Silver. And basically, both just ensure that we're all kept in line. More importantly, that we continue to move forward as well. And then we've really got the ops team that make everything that you see happen. And a few of them are with us this evening as well. So we've got our main man, who's Wayne, is our chairman. We've got Mark, who keeps us in check as our secretary. We've got Nigel, that makes sure I don't bankrupt us, as our treasurer. You've got my good self as the event secretary. And then our latest addition, looking after all things really brand and design for us, is Kieran Taylor Bradshaw as well. So what are we about then? So when we were forming the club, we looked at all the clubs in existence today. And then more importantly, we engaged with all the prospective members, and we did that via online surveys, picking up the phone, speaking to them. And our real first question was, do you want a New and Young Masons club? And then if you do, what do you want it to deliver for you? What do you want it to achieve? So fortunately, everyone said they wanted one, so they kept us in a job. And then secondly, from what they told us they wanted us to deliver, this helped us really form our vision. And this was very much focused, and what the feedback we got was not just being about Freemasonry and everything Freemasonry, but being more inclusive. So bringing friends, bringing family, and getting everyone involved to share the good that Freemason really brings. And our mission then, as a club that we set out, is to provide a platform. So that's what we're here to do. So a platform for new and young Masons to embrace one of our core principles of friendship. So we're here to provide that new social circle outside of the lodge room that provides learning opportunities, but also then helps you advance with great foundations and also knowledge of Freemasonry. And we've got really, three key aims, which are enable people to meet newly initiated brethren, both within their own lodge and at social events, to assist new brethren as well in forming friendships with other members of the club, which we hope obviously lasts for many years to come, and also to enable members of the club and their non-Masonic friends as well to meet socially outside of the lodge. So that's what we're here to do. That's our mission, and that's what we always come back to whenever we're putting on events or doing anything together as a club. So we then set out really, right, what are the four key areas and our priorities that we really want to focus on? So the first was very much a little bit like this event tonight around learning and development. So what can we do? What can we put on that will help people learn and advance in knowledge of Freemasonry and in general? Second is, of course, social. So social being one of our core principles, what we want to achieve, what we want to help out, and how we do that in the current pandemic as well. Third was around charity and community engagement. So actually, one of our roles we see is taking Freemasonry out into the community, normalising it, and also, getting people involved and spreading the word. And then fourth was around Masonic functions. So we form a Masonic calendar of visiting, both within our group, but then taking that wider to the province, and then obviously further afield as well, as much as we can. So with all of that, we'd done all of that background, we'd set all that scene, it was time for us to launch. And we were reluctant really as a group to launch an events group because our launch was in July and that was in the midst of a pandemic. So, but we knew it was critically important really for us to ensure that we did launch to keep brethren and gentlemen engaged with the fraternity in a way that was fun and engaging. And after all, these clubs are a great asset to our membership team, and we know our role there. So to do so, we wanted to ensure that we created a digital platform that provided that safe space for all of our members, but also one in which we could track who was actually a member, and a platform that was more engaging for us than just social media. So that's why we decided to choose something that enabled all of this. And of course, our choice was Team App. So Team App is our core platform, and more importantly, it is completely free, if you don't mind some annoying ads every now and again. And it allows us to have membership at different levels. So we can have people join the club, and we have 3 different levels that we have set. So we have an associate member of non-Mason. So anyone who isn't a Mason can join the club. We have an associate member who is a Mason, but outside of our Chorley and Leyland group. And then we have a full member status as well. And that is a Mason who is part of the Chorley and Leyland group. What that allows us to do in having that membership structure and sign up and validation of people coming on means we can target and understand our membership base clearly. So then we can obviously focus our attention on specifics rather than assuming and trying to please all. We can get feedback, we can get insight into our people. And those groups also mean that we can advertise and restrict access to events, news and chat based on the membership level a person has. So we can have news content just relevant for our Chorley and Leyland group full members, and then we can have content that's relevant to all, including non-Masons as well. And really the key features of this app, and it comes with website, you've got app for mobile devices as well, but it allows us to manage our events, so hosting and sign up, track attendance, etc. There's chat rooms, there's a news feed, there's a merchandise and online shop area, there's polls and surveys, functionality that you can run so we can constantly gain feedback, document management, and then there's a gallery as well to store loads of beautiful pictures of our members as well. And of course, though, we understand the importance of social media. So we are present on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram's our latest. Don't really do much on Instagram yet, but we'll see. That's one to take off. We got it registered so no one else steals the name. So let's have a look since our launch then. What have we done since July 2020? So we have now acquired 160 members, and we've had a steady stream of growth since our launch. And our focus really is to continue on growing this, and with our membership structure it enables us to do this. There isn't a cap on our members in terms of who we can have, because our membership structure means any of you today on the call can join the club. But one thing we do plan on doing is not losing sight of our core focus, which is ensuring all of those new and young Masons that are part of our group are active members. And we work really with our provincial team to ensure that we are doing that. So since our launch, we have held 9 online events, and we've got another 7 events in the pipeline. So that takes our calendar currently into May 2021. Funnily in line with Boris's COVID lockdown exit strategy, but no, we didn't have any inside information before you say. And these events involve the launch of our bi-monthly club quiz that we're now doing, and obviously many guest speakers. Our events on average obtain between around 30 and 60 attendees, and we were honoured to have the 3rd Grand Principal of the Supreme Grand Chapter and the Provincial Grand Master for the Province of South Wales, Gareth Jones, who's been a UGL lead for New England Masons clubs as well, attend and officially open the club, so to speak. Also in January, we hosted the New and Young Masons mini monthly conference as well. And going forward in March, tomorrow, going forward, we're also fortunate to support and assist in the running of the first virtual West Lancashire New and Young Masons Forum. So we'll be doing that as well. So we might have only been around 8 months, but we've certainly been busy. And this slide not only shows that, but it does also show you the date that Kieran joined us to look after all things branding. So my blue and white backgrounds weren't quite cutting it, so we got some new graphics made up. But you can see that for the latest ones that Kieran did. So what does the future, I suppose, have in store for us as a club? So continued membership growth, that's going to definitely be one of our focuses. We're going to launch a website as well, so we can focus on that, taking it out to the community. So that's currently in design. alongside the events as well. And we're going to focus on developing more engaging online content. So looking at doing blog posts and all of the things that we can do to deliver on the priorities that we really set ourselves. And looking forward for events, we sort of see this as a blended approach that we'll do. So as the way forward, when running any workshops or physical presentations, we'll use technology to stream these to allow us to keep those further afield members still involved with the club. So that is a whistle-stop tour into us, which I hope you have found useful and insightful. And ultimately, I'm around now to take any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you very much, Adam. That's brilliant. Very well done. So we have some questions. We're going to first go over to Lee Bushby of the Dunkleys of Bristol.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I just obviously with the app itself, I've just seen, is that quite easy to set up and use, or is it a bit more complicated than what it looks like?
It is quite easy to set up, to be fair. So we did some digging, we did some comparisons. You know, there's a rugby club set up within West Lancs as well. They were doing some research on apps. I think they chose a different one in the end, but for us it was really simple. Configuration's quite easy in terms of the back end of the system. But yeah, as long as you can get your way around sort of setting up any sort of database type system and fields and properties and stuff, it's quite easy to do.
Cheers.
No worries.
Great question. Over to Matthew Brown of Prawsome Semper in Gloucestershire.
Hey Adam, thank you for the presentation. That was awesome. My question is, what do you find was the best strategy to increase membership numbers from the day that you started? And what would you say, I know it's fairly new beginnings, but what would you say is your percentage of active members?
So I'll take the last one first. So in terms of active members percentage, probably active, you can track that in the app, so you can track who's checking in as well, and probably 50 to 70% of our members are active. We can see who's got notifications turned off and on and things like that, so you can also track if you're bugging people or not. And what the app also allows you to do is if they turn notifications off, it'll default to mail reminders, so the person gets an email instead, which is really helpful. In terms of what allowed us to get our name out there, you know, we use social channels. We looked at all the other clubs that are out there today, and you know, that engagement on social in terms of Twitter, retweet, etc. is really useful. We were fortunate to have 2 mailing lists from the 2 clubs as well that we could use to get sign up, but we started from a blank database in terms of building the app up and use the channels that we had. But one of the best assets you've got is your people and your members themselves. So, you know, it's important to tell your members and remind your members to actually go out there and speak to their friends, family, check is their connection involved, etc. That they know who recently joined Masonry, and try and link into the province to understand members who you haven't got. So that's what we're doing at the minute, is doing some analysis versus who is a light blue, so to speak, in terms of our group, and who of them now are members. And if they're not, you know, we'll pick up the phone and talk to them. So that personal touch and connection, you also then give that person sort of personal accountability to join as well. We found works really well.
Have you found that province has helped you out somewhat in terms of rallying people up in your own province yourselves?
Yeah, completely. So the province helped all secretaries for lodges. So, you know, our secretary, Mark, has been secretary for a lodge as well. So that's good. He had that network within the secretaries themselves to get our message out there. But yeah, province has been really supportive. So, you know, our provincial Grand Secretary, Andrew Rydell, looks after all things. He was part of one of the founding clubs, obviously, in London, etc. as well. So New Young Masons clubs, and seeing them be successful is probably helped us a lot as well.
That's brilliant. Well, cheers for that, Adam, and good luck.
No, thank you.
Great. The next question, Jack's iPhone asks sort of the same question as Dan from the Northampton Hunts NOMC, so we'll let Dan take over this question.
Yeah, hi Adam. Just wondered, I know obviously you've got different membership levels, but what are the requirements for your actual members as far as, you know, do they have to be light blues, or do you accept provincial rank, etc.? And is there a cost involved to being a member?
Cool. So thanks, Dan, for that one. So in terms of membership structure, to be a full member, so to speak, you just need to be a Mason, part of the Chorley and Leyland group. So what we say is we're not going to restrict a dark blue or a person of rank, etc., joining the club. But what we will do is ensure that all of our content and what we deliver in terms of event-wise will be focused on the light blue new and young Masons, and we will look at the qualities. So we capture job role, etc., and hobbies and interests. So we will ensure our events are always tailored to our market, so to speak. But we're not going to restrict anyone that, as soon as you become a dark blue, etc., or that's why we very much take the new and young Masons rather than light blue perspective. So our events will target on that. We don't restrict. And from a cost perspective, it is all completely free as well. So we don't charge any member. We had a look at a proposal and we did ask when we did our surveys, would anyone join? And generally sort of a £5 to £10 mark was sort of always banded around of what people would do. As we move to physical events, we may look at charging a member's fee and then doing discount on that for the events that we put on. So that's been our thoughts around it. But because everything's been virtual and our running costs have pretty much been zero, apart from the time and effort of all the team, it wasn't also right, we thought, to then charge at that point. And we'll do merchandise and various different things. Everyone loves a pin badge or some cufflinks, of course, which will put some money on for that to invest in anything we need.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Great question. Okay, from Northampton Hunts to the Isle of Man, and Dave Wilson from the Isle of Man Light Blues Club.
Hi, Adam. First, thanks for that talk. That was very interesting. Thank you. I just wanted to know how much direction and involvement with the club does your provincial team have, and how does that work, and how is it received with your members?
So in terms of when we formed, we presented to our chairman and vice chairman and a few of the key stakeholders of the group to keep them involved and stuff. So they're always let us know what you're doing, fully support everything that we are doing as well. But very much leave it to what they've said is, you are a club for new and young Masons. So we want you as new and young Masons to form and take that club on its journey, because you'll, rather than it come from the top down, this is what we want, actually, you should know what you guys want. So off you go, go and do it. And if you need anything, we're here. So you've got that support around that. And, Neil is probably our real key link to ensuring that we always stay on the right track. We don't go off in any wild directions. Not that our ideas get crazy anyway, but and keeps us linked in. And Neil obviously heads up sort of membership as well for the province. So it's sort of that real good link that we have as a team with them. But yeah, really, really supportive. But no, they'll only get involved probably if we're going to do something that will be too edgy.
That's great. Thanks, Adam.
No worries.
Amazing. That's all the questions for you, Adam. You'll be pleased to know.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
A very insightful talk, and we've certainly learned lots of lessons. I'm going to hand back over to Barry Hayward now, who will carry on.